Hello, everyone. I'm glad to welcome you to our event, a meetup by Flutter Voronezh community. And it is an unusual one for us because it will be in English. First time. Hope you will enjoy it. And first of all, let me introduce myself for people who first time with us. My name is Mikhail Zotyev. I'm an organizer of this community and Flutter enthusiast and author of the Telegram channel about Flutter for my Flutter, senior Flutter engineer at Volt, soon from tomorrow. I want to introduce our guest and speaker today, Raitis Šaripo. Hi, Raitis.
Hey.
Raitis is a iOS and Flutter developer at Chili Labs, creator of Kitchenetta. It's an application for kitchen management and a game which called Orbit Guard. How are you today?
I'm fine. Thanks. What about you?
Also fine, thank you. So thank you for joining us today, and we are really happy to have you as a speaker. Let's move to our topic, and our topic today is really unusual, also unusual. It's game dev with a Flutter, and yes, Flutter team makes a lot to make it popular. A lot of people all time preparing videos, speech and conference about using Flutter in game dev. But by the way, to be honest, it's not the first thing which we think when talk about game dev. And I am the person who came from game dev, and despite that I like Flutter very much. Probably it's even not a second thing which I think when we talk about the game. But Raitis did the game, created this and released, and it's really nice. So he will share his experience in this topic, like creation game with a Flutter, maybe challenges and why Flutter. So I'm just disappearing. It's your turn. Please go ahead.
Okay. So just checking. So hopefully everyone can hear me. Hello, everyone. And as Mikhail said, today I'm going to be talking about my latest creation, Orbit Guard. Let me tell you a little about me first, about myself. Also, I pretty much stole this slide from someone very well known in the Flutter community. So my name is Raitis. I'm from Riga, Latvia, and I'm pretty much name buddies with Raichu, the Pokemon, because in Latvian, short for Raitis is Raicha, and it's almost the same as Raichu. And actually, some of my friends already call me Raichu. I know it's silly, but it is what it is. And yeah, I'm a mobile iOS and Flutter developer at Chili Labs. Chili is a software development agency, and we develop native Android, iOS, and Flutter apps. And not only that, and in my free time, I like to play basketball. Also, I've been doing kickboxing for quite some time now, and also like to work on some interesting stuff for myself, like creating my own apps. Okay, today I'll share my experience working on this game. I'll tell you what exactly it is, like what was the motivation behind creating it, what tools did I use to develop it. I'll touch up a little on user interface and user experience. Also mention some challenges that I had and what were the solutions. I'll also share main takeaways from my time developing this app, some statistics, and what's next for me, what's next for the game. We'll see. So yeah, Orbit Guard is a mobile game, but it isn't just any mobile game. it's essentially like a testament to the seamless integration of Flutter and Flame game engine, to be specific. And the beauty of this combination, of course, is cross-platform capability that allows you to play this game on Android and iOS platforms. So I could reach more players, have a larger audience, larger player base. So what's the game about? Imagine there's a planet you need to protect from magnetic storm that's closing in, and your job essentially is to tap on the planet as fast as you can to keep that storm away for as long as possible. And if you're good at doing that, at guarding like one planet for long enough, you'll be able to unlock the next planet, thus unlocking all the planets in the galaxy and becoming the ultimate guardian of the galaxy. And if you're thinking about how well you're doing in this game, there's also a leaderboard of players and how many planets they have unlocked, and their total time defending the planets. This is the sum of the planet, like taking best time from each planet, not the total playing time. So be mindful of that. And the longer you guard the planet, the higher up you go in the rankings. And your goal is pretty much as in most of the. So this is not necessarily like a ranking based game, but your goal should be to stay at the top of the leaderboard for as long as possible by, as I said, asserting yourself as the ultimate galaxy guardian. Plus, for a little bit of extra fun, I added some achievements you can unlock as you play. And overall, it's a very simple game, but I think it turned out to be like a pretty fun one, especially if you're playing it with friends, let's say in a festive party-like environment where you can get to compete against each other and maybe play some bets or make some challenges while playing it. So maybe we could like have fun of our own. You could download the game if you haven't already and play the first planet, Pluto, and share your best result by the end of the presentation in the comments. I'll share mine also, and it's up to you whether to watch the ads or not. By watching that, you get the chance to improve your time. But yeah, it's up to you. So maybe we could all have a little bit of fun. So yeah, about the motivation. Basically, I did it for fun, so that me and other players who decide to play it could have some fun, like playing this game. Yeah, but if I'm being a bit more serious, then after hearing Lucas Klingsbau's talk about Flame at the Flutter Heroes conference back in February, I was just buzzing with excitement, motivation, like almost as if I had like five cups of coffee or something. I just had to do something with all that energy and excitement. So I channeled it and created the mobile game. Yeah, but it wasn't just about that. I was like curious, like genuinely curious, like how would it be to create a game from the scratch? Would people even like it? How hard actually is to like learn like a new framework like Flame, the game development like framework for game development. And it was basically like I would say a journey of discovery, pushing my own limits and boundaries, and also learning a lot of stuff along the way, of course. And speaking of fun, me and Lucas sort of made a fun little deal. If my game hits at least 10 downloads, he will send some of those slick Flame hoodies my way. I'm still keeping an eye on my mailbox for those. Haven't received them yet. We'll see in the future, maybe. So yeah, as I said, I used the combination of Flutter and Flame to develop this game. And Flame game engine essentially is a framework that's built on top of Flutter. I want to say it's like framework within a framework, and it provides like out-of-the-box solutions for creating the game, like game loop implementation and all the necessary functionality that comes with it, like sprites, animations, images, input, also like collisions and component system and all of that stuff. So it really makes it easy, I would say, yeah, pretty easy to like create a game from scratch. And yeah, it's essential to understand that Flame is minimalistic by design. Well, this means like you won't get like a full-blown game editor UI, like for example, Unity. I think there's like Game Maker Studio or something like Godot. Also, maybe not entirely sure. Like forgot the names, and there are also other game editors. But with Flame, you benefit from the lightweight engine with no unnecessary overhead, I would say, and giving you the freedom to structure your game how you see fit, basically. So let's see, next slide. And yeah, and if you're interested in learning more about Flame, I definitely recommend watching this talk by Lux Klingsbo, also known as Spydon on the internet. I think he has more than one talk on Flame, so if you're interested, you should definitely check it out. It's this one is more of an introduction, but it's still it got me started. So and yeah, with Flame, basically everything. If you open up the game right now, everything you see on the screen essentially is Flutter widgets, apart from the actual like game screen, the gamified part where you need to tap on the planet, and the magnetic storm zone is actually a game widget. But for example, like anything else, game overlay, timer, everything like switching between the planets, leaderboard, all that, just Flutter. And resources that helped me really start with the Flame was Flame Code Lab. Of course, official Flame documentation. In my opinion, it's very well written. Of course, there's not everything, as always with the documentations, but it's definitely enough to get you started. Also, I found Craig Leben's Observable Flutter series of speed coding Pong and slow coding Pong very relatable, because it was fun to see someone so well known in the Flutter community to struggle with the same stuff also. And like, because it was so relatable, it helped me not to give up. And also I learned some stuff, especially how to like start basically writing the code base for a game with the Flame. So what about the user interface? I wanted it to be like very easy on the eyes, simple, but still pretty to look at. And also, who doesn't love like some smooth transitions and simple yet appealing UI elements? And I hope that you have this game like opened besides you, next to you, and if we check all the transitions to game modes, like the actual game, to switching the planets, to leaderboards, everything is just a single page view with multiple pages. That's how I achieved those transitions. Yeah, that's about that. Also, the question I get asked a lot is actually, did I create the planets myself, or did I draw them? Like, did I draw them myself? Answer is no, I didn't. I had help designing the user interface. So essentially, I found planets on Figma community as free resources, and I use those. And in my opinion, they're the ones that made the UI of the game so pretty, if I say so myself. And without those, it wouldn't have turned out as well as it has. Again, my opinion, but yeah. And fun fact, as you can see on the slide, like the secondary color, primary color, and the text for each planet, it's completely generated by ChatGPT. I just supplied it with the list of planets and requirements, and it provided me planets with the descriptions and necessary colors. I adjusted colors for some planets, but essentially it was all done by AI. And I think it was really great because it made the whole process of it faster, and it allowed me to really focus on the development itself rather than thinking about colors, color palettes, and matching all of that stuff. But the rest of the design is all me. A lot of it is inspired by the work of other designers and concept designs. But yeah, I don't have like any education regarding designing products. Most of the time, I'm just going with my gut, and that's it. So, what about the challenges? Let me just. Okay, so even with the background in Flutter, I've been developing with Flutter probably in total a bit over a year, I would say. The rest of the time has been native iOS development. And yeah, as I started saying, even with the background in Flutter, getting down the basics of game development, especially the Flame, like in my opinion, presented like rather steep learning curve at first. Because the challenge was knowing which components to use, when to use them, and how to use them. But that said, the documentation of Flame is really well written and explained. And as I mentioned previously, especially if you're starting off, it's going to be enough. Yeah, when it comes to state management, I just stuck to what I knew, the block. That's the only thing I've used, and that's the only thing I know, basically. I know about other stuff, but I haven't tried those other state management libraries myself. So I just went with the block, and I used Flutter block and Flame block for game state management. And at first, I had difficulties figuring out how to use single block instance for both the app and the game widget. But yeah, how I solved it was if in like Flutter widgets we use like a regular block provider, it's just the analog for Flame game. You just use Flame Flame block provider, and you also, to game components, you add like a mixing of Flame block listener, and then access those state values through the game reference. And yeah, that was the reason. So because of struggling with properly using single block instance for both the game and the app, I had problems with setting up the game session logic, meaning like starting the game, restarting the game, continuing how to continue the game after watching the ad. And yeah, honestly, it was probably the most difficult thing while developing this app. But yeah, this was pretty critical in my case. And yeah, how I solved this. So this is actually not. So it's tightly related to the block, to the state management, but I had to create. So what I decided to do is to create a game reference every time I restart the game. In the documentation, it's mentioned that it's better to like initialize game once and just pass it to the game widget. But what I did, I initially like initialized it and then reassigned it, as I said, each time the game started. So more of a trial and error approach in this regard, but in the end, it works fine, and let's just hope it will keep working fine in the future as well. Yeah, getting the game out there for public. Well, for someone like me, marketing is pretty much still a rocket science. Like, definitely a significant online presence would no doubt make a difference. And also it did it for me. Like how I promoted my app was I shared it on Twitter, Instagram, work chat, WhatsApp group chats. Mostly they're like basketball team chats. And so I got around, like what was it, a bit less than 80 people tried it. And then I went to the FlutterCon, and after that, the player base, like players on the leaderboard, went from 80 to over 200 during and after the event in Berlin. So I had a like pretty big platform, I would say, and I got to share my creation with people that attended that conference. Yep. Real world testing, right? So I was inspired by a mobile game called Hardest Game Ever 2. I don't think it's still available on the App Store or Google Play Store, but it was so hard and so frustrating that I liked it very much. And initially, I aimed for my game to be also challenging and perhaps even like maddening. But the feedback changed my perspective because I gave my game to try out and play for people around me. Those were mostly developers and QAs. Maybe don't do that because they almost always try to break your game. And but no hard feelings. And yeah, I just realized that the early stages of the game, especially the first planets like Pluto, Moon, and Mercury, should be a bit easier. So basically almost every player could pass those levels. So to get like hooked, if you will, on this game. but yeah, it's just basically making sure that the early stages are a bit more accessible. And essentially, that led to a week of fine-tuning the magnetic zone shrinking algorithm to find the right balance. So it's easy enough for people who like tap slower, but it's also challenging enough for people that are really fast tappers. So yeah, some main key takeaways from the time developing the app. As I already mentioned, like real world testing forced me to make significant adjustments, particularly with the game zone, with the magnetic zone shrinking algorithm. Yeah, and basically this just demonstrates that adapting on based on feedback and the real world testing is essential for, I would say, successful product. I guess you could name it. You could call it that. Yeah, compromising for the MVP. Yeah, so I aimed for visually like very appealing user interface, and I wanted to make it so perfect, but the perfect the UI and the user experience. But I set some time constraints for myself, so I only gave myself about a month to develop this game because I had to prepare the talk for FlutterCon. And yeah, so essentially the time working on this game taught me like how to prioritize essential features and functionality, and yeah, to compromise a little bit on the UX. I'll touch on that a bit later, but yeah, just try to get MVP out there as soon as possible, and then just adjust and improve based on the feedback, real feedback that you actually get. And yeah, as I said, despite having like experience in mobile app development and this not being my first app on the market, marketing still proves to be quite a unique challenge. But as I said, presenting at events like big events like FlutterCon provided unexpected. Honestly, I wasn't expecting like that unexpected boost in a total player count, and I just think it shows the power of the community engagement, if you will, and the importance of diversifying like promotional strategies, like not only sharing it online but also talking about it with like larger audiences and that stuff. So some statistics from my game. So it took me 4 weeks in total to develop, like from the idea, designing, coding, testing, and publishing to the market. The last week, as I said, I mostly did testing and adjusting the algorithm of the magnetic zone. And yeah, my fingers, like my fingertips and my arm was hurting so bad from all the testing that I did. It was just crazy. And I was working mostly on evenings and during the weekends. Yeah, I have over. Let's actually check it live. There are more players than I think yesterday. Yeah, there are 214 players to be exact on the leaderboard. And thank you to every one of you for giving my game a chance. Something like from Firebase statistics. Let me quickly check. There are 266 new users, and 100 of them returned multiple times to play the game again. But apparently only 214 of those 266 decided to set up their player account. What did others do? No idea. Their loss, I guess. Found 2 cheaters, and then there's some more on my radar already, and I dealt with them accordingly. Yeah, average engagement time for the user per session was 2 minutes and 21 seconds, which is really good because that's what I calculated the approximate average would be. And also that was what I aimed for because the game is very easy and fast to play. You just come in, tap, 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 your fingers and arms get tired, and you go on to do something different. And also, I have earned some money, like total earnings from the ads currently a bit over $2. So there's still like a long way to go. And regarding ads, I didn't mention this during the slides previously, but I decided to go with a rewarded ads model, just so it's not that intrusive for the players. With all the ads always popping up after each game and whatnot, I understand that it can possibly make you more money, but then again, I think it's a bit easier to lose players really fast. Yeah, so if you want to improve your time on some specific planet, you could just watch the ad and help me make some more money, and at least maybe get a coffee afterwards or something like that. So what's next for the app for myself? First of all, I want to experiment with App Store optimization and get some more players. Like every new player is a milestone for me, but let's say having 1,000 players on the leaderboard would be like a major one, at least at this stage of the app. And I'll try some tricks that I learned from Vyacheslav Krediko and Ivan Helmeland. I hope I didn't butcher the pronunciation of the names. And I'm just trying to make this game go viral by any means necessary. And I have already made like a mental backlog in my head of bug fixes and minor improvements that I want to fix, like from the user experience perspective, but nothing too major. If you have tried it out, the game, maybe you have already noticed some nitty bugs or inconsistencies, and if you have, don't worry. Most likely they're on my list of to-dos, and I'll fix them, and you'll never know that they were there. Yeah, I'll definitely make some UI improvements regarding the user experience. As you can see on this screen, this was the screen I was talking about, like game overlay. So I would say probably from the icons, it's not entirely clear as to what each button does. Also, maybe I don't think people really like to read, and maybe that red text about watching that is not that noticeable. I would really like to add like another button that allows you to go to the next planet if you have successfully defended the current one for a certain amount of time, or maybe like some notification banner that just slides out and then slides back in, something like that. Just overall better user experience. Also, I will try to improve how data is being retrieved from the Firebase Firestore, specifically for the leaderboard, because when there were only around like 30 players, it didn't make much sense to do anything regarding that. Mostly I'm talking about pagination. But now that there are over 200 people on the leaderboard, I think it's a must, really. Also, I have some other new features, new ideas of features and possibly also gameplay I want to implement, but we'll see how it goes because I don't really want to make any promises and then not to deliver. And I'm still thinking whether I should like add new planets, new levels, or create a completely new experience within the same game. I don't know, let's say another galaxy with other stuff. I don't know. But yeah, thank you for listening to me. Hopefully it was interesting. Maybe some stuff was relatable to you. Yeah, you could scan the QR code. There's like tiny feedback form, and after that you'll be redirected to a small page where you can see the links to my apps, also to my Twitter. And I guess I have a question to the audience. Would you like me to make the source code available for public? If yes, just maybe afterwards write in the comments. I need to do like some cleanup first, but if it's something that interests you, I could definitely do that. And thank you for listening to me, I guess.
Thank you for a perfect speech and for a really cool game. I think our audience was enjoyed, both of them. And let's wait for people who want to ask you a question. So yeah, guys, don't be shy and just write to the chat everything that you want to ask. And maybe while we are waiting for questions, I also want to show yeah, the small feedback from our audience. Cool game. Yeah, completely agree with this. Really cool and really pretty simple because it's easy mechanic for the game, just tapping and nothing more. But by the way, it's keep you interested in and make this really exciting because it's a bit hard after some time. It's became more fast shrinking and so on. And I also want to ask if the input detection detect the next input after you release the finger after the first, or you can just keep the finger and tap the second one before you release the first finger.
I think you should be able to tap while you're holding it. Yeah. So you can tap while you're holding one finger, but it doesn't affect like the algorithm itself. It just registers the tap, and that's it. Like not the release really. Like I mean, yeah, it just registers the tap. So yeah, if you're pressing on it, so it will register a single tap, and if you're holding, yeah. So I hope.
So every tap will be registered, all right?
Yeah.
Because I remember when we played at Art of the Party, at the end it looked like people playing on something like a piano, and I'm thinking about the equal opportunity for every player. Like we have the competition between the players, but in this case, people with the different count of taps which detected by sensor on the different phone. These people have different environment. Like someone can just detect, I don't know, 4 4 touches at the same time, and someone can, I don't know, 10. uh, have you thought about the work on this part to make this?
Yes, so I have. I'm still trying to figure that one out. So essentially, at first, I was trying to make sure that every planet has the same amount of like tappable area that you can tap on, but because of the assets of the image assets, some planets actually do have like a bigger the tap area around them, and I just left it there because I mean you never know what's actually in the space around those planets. Maybe some like protective atmosphere or something like that. But yeah, definitely, I definitely want to do something with possibility to. Honestly, I have no idea actually what to do, but I know that on Android you could use auto clicker, and that's not good. That is not good. I'm still trying to think of a way how to like handle that. Not sure if I know how to.
Maybe
Yeah.
you can just randomly generate a place on the planet which will be highlighted in which you need to tap.
So
It's make a bit difficult, but
yeah,
with the balancing of difficult speed shrinking, maybe it's also adds some variosity for game.
yeah,
But it's just idea.
yeah. It's actually a pretty nice one. Maybe it could be like for the new gameplay, like maybe improved one. I don't know. Yeah, it will definitely make it harder. It's interesting that people. I heard that some people can't even pass the first planet, the first level. So uh, it's interesting because I don't know. Just I think it will be much. It will make it so much harder for others. But then again, if we decide to, let's say, implement your idea, it could be like a completely maybe different galaxy that you can open only by completing like defending all the planets in this galaxy or something like that. I think there are some like really good things that I could come up with, and yeah, yours is definitely one of them.
Okay, nice. And maybe one more question from my side while we're waiting our audience. You used Flame, but it's as we already said, it's pretty easy gameplay. Just tapping and just detecting if our probably it's a value inside which you decrease all time before it's reach some value. But did you do this because of you want to use a flame, or it just have something more under the hood that you need use a flame?
Yeah, so it was because I wanted to try out the flame. I wanted to learn how to do it, and yeah, I guess I assume that from what I've seen, like I haven't done game development without this framework, the Flame framework, but uh, essentially, yeah, as I mentioned, it just provides out of the box solutions already, so you don't have to like necessarily create your own game loop, for example. And honestly, when we're thinking about it, I don't know, maybe it could be easy doing just with Flutter, but I don't know. So, but yeah, to answer your question, I just really wanted to try out Flame and to learn working with it because it's there's also always potential that something in the work, actual work, like my daily job, something will come up that where a flame could be used for some gamification elements inside the app.
Okay, thank you for your answer. And I, to be honest, don't see any additional questions, so we can just round up our today's meetup. Again, thank you very much for your speech, for your preparation, and for your game. And thank you all, guys, for being with us this time. And have a good rest of the day. Enjoy this evening, and see you next time. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Thank you.